Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Gabriel Farina from the International Office of Politécnico de Milano. He's going to talk about Politécnico, the Master of Science, opportunities of scholarships for our Latin American audience. So thank you for being here. And without much anymore, Gabriel, please proceed.
Okay. Hello, everyone. As Cecilia has already introduced me, I will go directly into explaining a little bit how is Politécnico, the university that I represent today. Politécnico is the most important Italian university and among the most important technical university in Europe. We are high in the rankings, and we are entirely located in the region of Lombardy, but our main campus is located in Milan. Probably most of you already know Milan because it is in the most productive region of Italy, which is Lombardy, but it is also what's really connects Italy to Europe and other European states. It is the most cosmopolitan and international city in our country, where you can embrace an historical and both modern atmosphere. As a city of Milan, we host a lot of the university and apart Polini, so it is really a city for students that are your students from all over the world. We are located primarily in Milan because our central building is there, where we have two campuses, which are Milano Leonardo and Milano Bovisa, which are inside the city of Milan. However, we are sparse on all the region of Lombardy and also in the city of Piacenza, which is in the region of Emilia, but it is quite near the border, as you can see. And in every city we have a campus according to different courses. For example, courses of design are entirely located in Milan, whereas some courses of architecture and engineering are located in different campuses, like in Cremona or Mantua. I mentioned that we are a technical university, but we're not technical only from the theoretical point of view, because we do a lot of research, and we are the first university in Italy project founded by the EU. And we also emit a lot of patents, spin-offs, and we are renowned for our research activity, especially for engineering. So, and therefore we have a lot of labs, laboratories. Every year, basically, there's a new one. So we have so much laboratories that are really interesting, especially for engineers, such as the wind tunnel, which is used also by very famous people in motorsport. And again, we have this website where you can see on your own our research activities. For example, we have Frontier website, which is more focused on the engineering side and polytechnical progress in research, which are more linked to the theme of sustainability in general and European Green Deal. So we have this. We have two different levels because we are really committed to the themes of sustainability, which are pretty important nowadays. In fact, our motto is to be sustainable and to have an impact on our industrial tissue and on our region, and more broadly on the reality that surrounds us. I mentioned that we are a university which is very international. Most of our international students are concentrated in our master's degree course, in particular because most of them are entirely taught in English. Therefore, as you can imagine, it is more appealing for international students to enroll in master's degree program. Therefore, most of our international students are postgraduate. We have a huge communities from China, India, Iran, but also from Mexico and Colombia, which are really important for us. And we see a lot of very good students from there. That's one of the reasons I'm here today with you. We have also many international professors. The fact that we are really committed to the industrial tissue of the region of Lombardy doesn't make us young and international from the point of view of the staff, of the administrative staff, and of the professor, the faculty. In fact, we host a two Politécnico Prize, which is, as you may know, a sort of Nobel Prize for architecture, and another professor probably will come to teach next year. So always a winner of this prize, because we are high ranked for architecture. Therefore, it is not a surprise that they wanted to come to Politécnico to teach. As I mentioned before, that we are high position in the ranking. We usually use QS ranking as a reference. As I've already said, that we are first university in Italy, but we are particularly now for design, which are of this position in the entire world. Among the 10th best for architecture and 13th position for engineering. Every year we are ranking higher and higher. So we are every year we still try to improve in this ranking, and it pays. Our effort pays. In fact, we are also a member of the Idea League or the INESH project, which are alliance among the technical university in Europe, the best technical university in Europe, such as the University of Aachen or the Polytechnic School of Zurich. Okay, this is just a brief scheme on. I will go into a more technical subject here, because this is just to explain how it works, the design education system. We have a first degree, which is the laurea, which is the bachelor degree. Italian students can have access to that after 13 years of schooling, because our high school is a little bit, lasts a little bit longer than in most of the countries, but it is accessible with 12 years of schooling according to our regulation, because we know that abroad usually a school can just less. Then there is the second level, which is the level which that we promote, because it's the one, as I mentioned, we taught in English, which is the laurea magistrale or Master of Science. Not to be confused with the specializing master, which are a separate program that lasts usually 1 year and have a different legal value. After those 2 years of specialization, there is the PhD or the PhD, which is the pathway to, if you want to follow an academic career. Coming to our program, I've mentioned it, we have a lot of programs taught in English. Just a couple of them are in the Bachelor of Science, which are architectural design and civil engineering, but today I will be focused on the master program, as I've said, because we have 45 Master of Science and 41 of them are entirely taught in English. These are our Master of Science in Architecture. There are not many, but really high quality and highly requested in general, so as shown by our ranking, and often are located in campuses, and not only in Milan, but also in other cities. This program. There are programs of design. Again, I've mentioned that Milan is quite famous for design, and not only for fashion design, but in general also for the fields of industrial design. We have a lot of connection with firms and with the industry that requires this kind of professional roles. So it is Politécnico Milano is really probably the best university in Europe for design. And then there's our infinite list of the programs of engineering. We have basically every possible field of engineering. Therefore, I will not stay that much on this slide if you read, because there's so much to read, and we'll talk about the program in details after the presentation. There's our deadlines for application if you are interested in some of our programs. For this year, the next year, of course, the intake of September is already gone, because the application period usually lasts from September to November, beginning of September, middle of November, and from roughly beginning of January and the beginning of March. It will be open soon. However, the intake for the second semester of next year, 223, the fourth, and you can apply from May 19 to July 20. And however, we allowed the intake for the second semester only if you're interested in a program in engineering. If you're interested in design or architecture, you should wait. You should wait September in order to apply. But for engineer, it is a little bit more flexible. Therefore, if you are interested, the application period will start soon. So get ready for that. We have some entry requirements, of course, because the selection are not. You don't have to pass a test like for the bachelor. All the admission is carried on with the selection of and analysis of your documentation and your academic credentials, made of course by our professors and our admission office. This is entirely based on your previous career. The very basic entry requirements are, of course, a bachelor degree, which is strictly related with the program that you have chosen. Again, there is some flexibility in, for example, in engineering. Professors tend to be a little bit less strict, whereas for architecture and design, it is strictly compulsory to have a previous bachelor degree in design and in architecture. This is very, since we are a very competitive university, as you may know, therefore we receive thousands and thousands of applications every year. Therefore, our professors have to be really strict, especially for design, because we have so much application that it's really difficult, and we are forced to be strict in order to select the best students. And finally, there is an English language certificate. I'll talk about it later, but we accept a wide range of certificate. We need it, of course, because our programs are taught in English, so you have to prove that you are proficient and you can follow us and interact with the professor and your colleagues during your academic career. Application is entirely online, and as I said, it is entirely about submitting the right document and selecting the program. Finally, in order to proceed with your application, you have to pay 50 euros of a non-refundable fee, which is the application fee, and it is a compulsory in order to make your admission request valid. Otherwise, without the payment of the fee, it won't be considered by any means. These are our required documents in general, which are academic qualification, transcript, course description, your CV, your resume, a letter of motivation, letter of recommendation, made by your professor or even your employee if you are working right now. Letter of motivation is basically why you want to join this program. The portfolio, which is a collection of your previous work that you have made during your academic career. And it is required only for architecture and design program, of course. And portfolio is really important for your admission, because are checked really carefully by our staff. So it is one of the most important documents probably for architecture and design if you want to have an impact on your application. Then there's the GRE for engineering and architecture. GRE is a standardized exam for mathematics, calculus, and other scientific subject, but it is not compulsory. It is just something that boosts a little bit your application. It is not compulsory. You can be admitted even if you don't submit it. It's just better if you have it, but again, it is not compulsory. I just want to stress this. This is the list of the certificate, English language certificate that we accept. As you can see, there is TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge, all the most common and standardized find. There's a way to avoid submitting this kind of certificate, which is to have already studied entirely in English. I mean, when I say entirely, I mean 100%, of course. If your bachelor was entirely taught in English, taught and tested in English, you're not required to submit an English proficiency certificate. You just have to give proof that your bachelor was taught in English, and you are completely fine. Italian, of course, is not required since the program is taught in Italian. We talk about it later. It is required as an exit requirement. Of course, we offer many courses of Italian which are completely tuition-free for our international students. Here are some tips for your application if you're interested. Of course, something quite trivial like we have a website which contains nearly all the information that you will need. To be careful with the deadlines, and in particular concerning the deadlines, as you can see, you should avoid last-minute application, because there's the risk that our server can fail, and in general there can be some problems with the banks and paying the application fee from your side. Therefore, if you wait too long to apply, that's the case that we are not able to provide immediately assistance to you, and it will be a pity. It will be really a pity. Therefore, once you have your documents ready, do not wait the last 2 or 3 days to submit them. Okay. Of course, check the spelling. Check often your inbox, because we send a lot of emails which contains useful information for prospective student and for people already admitted to the program. But be personal with your motivation letter, but this is something that is inherent with the motivation letter itself. And portfolio. Portfolio, as I mentioned already, is very important, especially for design. You should avoid to put too many words in it, because otherwise the professor will think that you have nothing really valuable if you just show that everything you have done in your previous career in a portfolio. So you should select only few words that are really relevant to the program you are applying to. It is not beneficial to put too many words in it. Plus, professors love to see intermediate phase on a project. They do not want to see just the final product, but also how you reach that final product. Therefore, it is really good if you can insert some sketches or intermediate phase of the program, some initial sketch or the very ideative part before the finalization of the work, because it allows them to evaluate how you process information, and it is really important for them. These are our fees. For an EU student, the standard fee is 3,900 euros every year. Of course, we offer merit-based scholarship, which the very useful thing about this is that it requires no application. Once you are admitted, if you are considered eligible, you will receive automatically your merit-based scholarship if you are, again, if you are considered eligible. Merit generally is based on your GRE. So if your GRE is very high, there's the chance that will be admitted. Merit base are divided, as you can see, into three branches, which go from the silver, which is a simple fee waiver, so you pay no taxes, to the platinum scholarship, which is no taxes plus 10,000 euros every year. Here, just a list of some of our facilities, such as university accommodation. Italian and foreign language courses are completely free for international students. Therefore, if you want to learn Italian, you can do it basically by paying nothing. The standard service for disabled students. We are still hosting some events on campus, because after COVID, here the norms concerning social distancing are relaxing slower and slower. So with the passing of the time, we are slowly going back to normal. Our lessons are entirely on campus, and we're still hosting events on campus. Plus, we have the buddy program. Basically, it means that if you request it, the university can assign to you a buddy, which is a student already enrolled that can help you to go through students' life, facilities, and in general to integrate yourself faster in the university community, which is really can be really useful if you do not have already a contact in Milan or in your campus. It can be really useful, and in general students really like it. We have also some sport facilities, depending from the campus, of course. Most of them are located in Milan, but we have it also in minor campuses. This is a photo of our brand new campus in Milan, for example, and we organize many sport events during the year, such as the Politécnico, which is a marathon. Here, just a focus on Italian language. I've already said that our courses of Italian language are completely free if you are an international student. That proficiency in Italian language is not required as an entry requirement for a master study program. However, we required you to reach a minimum proficiency of Italian by the end of your academic path with us. Why we do this? Because we saw that it's really beneficial for students to learn a little bit of Italian for their life outside the university, because as administrative staff, of course, we can communicate in Italian, but it is not the case for the average population in Milan. It is not taken for granted. So it's really beneficial while you are studying and after, because if you want to work in Italy in general, it is required at least an intermediate proficiency in Italian. So it can be really useful, because we have a lot of connection with the industries, and even if you want an internship, for example, it can be required to have at least a minimum proficiency in Italian. So we want to slowly nudge students to acquire this kind of proficiency. It is not required to have a C2 level, of course. If you arrive knowing no Italian, for us it is enough that you can demonstrate that you have reached an A1 or A2 level. You're not required higher level. It just in this phase is quite symbolic, I would say. It just for us it's enough that you show that you have made the effort to learn it, and for one is okay. Of course, if you already know Italian, you can just submit your proficiency certificate in Italian, and you're fine. You are dispensed for this by this requirement. I've said that we have a lot of connection with industries, and we are really higher in the rank of the QS for employability, as you can see in the screen. We are in the 43 position, because we are our career service is really efficient. If you are looking for an internship and connection with the industries, our career service can really provide you a good service in that regard. We receive a lot of job offers. We can allow you to participate in job fairs. There's a lot of career guidance in general to you if you request it in our offices. They organize workshop, and in general they keep there's a constant dialogue between us and industrial issues of our region, and more broadly of the various multinational companies. So we can provide, since we are a technical university and we are in industrial region, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of dialogue between us, even because we are a research university. So there's a high demand for engineers and in general for technical figures in our region and in Europe in general. So it is really important for us to maintain and make this connection with the industry and firms going on. And as it shows by our employability data, international alumni are employed within a 1 year from graduation. The 82% of them is employed, but I know personally a lot of students that received tons of job offer while they are still studying, especially for some field of engineering, such as computer engineering. They already received job offer during their bachelor. So that because there's an high demand of this kind of professional figures. And turning back to the requirement of Italian, as you can see here, half of our international students decide to remain in Italy to work. And if they choose to remain to work in Italy, they are forced for some reason to talk in Italian. That's why we want to nudge our students, because it is better that they learn Italian during the study instead of immediately after when they are looking for a job. We are really pushing into this, but of course we don't want to force them explicitly, because it will be too much in any case. This is just an example of our connection with industries. We have this Polyhub, which is an innovation park and a startup accelerator. What does it mean? Probably some of you have already an entrepreneurial idea, or they want to launch their own firm. You have your own idea of some product. And in this innovation part, you can have the support of your professor and our staff to develop it if it is considered worthy. So, and so you can receive support also not only in research but also in the administrative field, and in finding connection with the industries that are interested in your project. So this is really something that helps you to have this kind of connection with the industries and with the productive world in general. This is, of course, this is more related to engineers, but it works for everyone in our courses. Just sum up of what we have covered today. Then we'll have a Q&A session, and I see if I can reply to the question. In Polini, we have high-level courses recognized by all international rankings. You can have an international environment. We are very linked to the reality of our region, but we are also an international university with many international alliances with university and firms. They are really well connected. we are top ranked. We are, as you know, we are connected to the job market, and this is basically everything that we have. This is our university. If you are interested, we can anyway contact us. And here you can find our contact. And I want also to mention one final thing that I forgot because it is quite new. Maybe you are interested in a very specific program of study, and you want to talk with someone that's already studied there or is still studying there. At the beginning of June, we are about to launch a new project with some student, where you can book an appointment with a student of Politécnico and talk with him about the program that you want to choose. This is to dissipate every doubt that you may have about the program and how it is a student life in Milan. You can book an appointment with a student and talk with him or her about the program that you are about to choose. So stay tuned, because it will be launched at the beginning of June, probably. We are still working on it, but anyway, we'll give to Cecilia every communication and every link useful for that. So she'll communicate it with you as soon as we have it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you again. If there are questions, I will interrupt the presentation.
Yes, Gabriel, thank you very much for this presentation. Just to remind everyone, the grad school is the official representative of Politécnico in Latin America, so we're happy to help you. All our help is completely free of charge, so you can benefit of that. The application process is quite competitive at Polimi, so I mean, we review all your documents. We're happy to answer all the questions, to help you in the visa process, everything. So you have a really good experience at Polimi.
Yes,
so
I can confirm.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask my colleague Anthony to write down his contact details, and I'll start looking at all the questions. There's several questions. And I have one that I got like prior to the conference. Do you happen to know when is the release of the scholarship, the Invest Your Talent? Because we have a question from one student who received a scholarship from Polimi, and it has been asked to confirm by a certain date, but he's also applying to the Invest Your Talent. So if you find out, or just let us know later. I know
it's being I have no news about that, but I can check after the meeting if you want. I can, but I didn't receive anything concerning that recently, so
okay.
I do not know that.
Perfect. No, I sorry to such a close call.
Dates.
Okay, there's one question. If an architect from David Aguilera, he wants to know if he is an architect, he can apply to the Master in Interior and Spatial Design.
No, because as I've said, she should have some title in design, already a bachelor in design. So,
is there any Master in Architecture that we can suggest that he applies to?
To architecture, there are, wait a second. The catalog is quite vast, but architecture we can have. Can you say again which was her bachelor degree?
He's an architect, and he wanted to apply to interior and spatial design. So is there any master in architecture that could cover some of the topics that are related to that?
Well, we have probably architecture, built environment, and interiors. They can be
okay, so
for her.
it's something to consider. There is Christian Alejandro is saying his studies at Universidad Nacional, and you have a double degree. So if he joins Polimi through that agreement, double degree agreement, can he apply for scholarships and even to the investor talent? Like the Polimi scholarships and to investor talent?
Well, generally those scholarships are mutually exclusive. So if you got one, I'm not sure that you can keep the other one. If that was the question.
As I interpret the question, Gabriel, is more that if a student that joins Polimi as a double degree student is eligible.
Double degree follows a different regulation. So I think no. I think no. But,
okay, so we
can check it anyway, because okay, but in general they follow different rules. So they're not considered exactly as international fields.
So we have a question for Sebastian, and perhaps it's worth to go over it. I know you did during the presentation, but can you repeat the cost of the Masters in Architecture and for all the Master of Science?
For the Master student is 3,900 euros.
Okay, year. Thank you. So there's also a question on scholarships. If should they apply first and then apply for scholarships, or how do you deal with that?
Well, concerning merit-based scholarship, it is released when you are enrolled. So they do not have a specific application. The very fact that you are applying to Polimi as a student, it means that you can be eligible once you are enrolled for that. There is no separate application for merit-based scholarships.
Excellent.
It is very simple.
Okay, great. So, I mean, once they apply, they're already considered for the merit-based applications.
They can be considered, of course. The fact that they receive the merit-based scholarship depends on many factors, like their GRE, or in general their evaluation. There are not merit-based scholarship for everyone, but it depends also from their GRE and also from other students. Because if there is a lot of competition, your chances are lower. If there is less competition on a specific program, your chances are higher. So
okay, so I mean, and for the other scholarships, like the ones given by the government, they do need a special application.
Yeah, for the scholarship released by the government, they require special application that are not carried out by the Politécnico de Milán. So you have to make a separate application at our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But we do not manage that. That's the reason why I'm still also unsure about the date, because
okay, my lad from Venezuela is asking, you mentioned that we had a specific requirement as for GPA for Colombian students, that it's 3.5. Is it applicable to Venezuelan students, or it's a different scale, or how?
For Venezuela, there shouldn't be a specific.
I don't think there is.
There shouldn't. I checked immediately, but there shouldn't be a specific GPA requirement. It shouldn't be. No, I got my memory because the site isn't really working right now, but it shouldn't be for on Latin America. There was only for Colombia, I guess, and this kind of requirement. additional requirement, but not for Venezuela.
Okay, I want to add that it's a very competitive process, so it's really good if you have a good GPA. So
yes, that's for sure.
It's the bare minimum for Colombians. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have another question from Daniela. Is the English certificate compulsory for admission?
Yes, yes. That's a very, the English certificate is really a core requirement, because or at least you can be admitted to the program if you still do not have the certificate. The problem is to receive the admission letter, you have to submit the certificate by time. And if you do not receive the admission letter, you cannot apply for the visa, for example. So it is really central. You can say, I will obtain it later after the deadline, but you must have it in order to enroll and in order to apply to the visa, to the university. It is a long process, and before, as soon as you have it, you should demonstrate it. It is better to have it very soon.
There's another question from Sebastian. Is there an age limit to access the program? Sorry, or scholarships?
No.
Yeah,
at least for
the merit base.
For the merit based. There is probably for the Invest Your Talent in Italy, if I am correct.
Yes, I think it's like 26 or 28 years.
20,
the limit for
28,
that.
28 if I'm correct.
Okay.
But on the side of Polimi, for the admission and for merit-based scholarship, there is no age limit.
Okay. Can you go over the dates for applying to Polimi?
Yes, oh, sure. I can share it again. Okay. Let's go back. The dates are, as I mentioned, the only active one for the time being is the February intake. This means that you start the year in the second semester, which is again from May to July. And there will be another intake in September from November for the first semester, but we still do not know the date. They're just the period, the general period of reference. Generally, the first intake is from the second or first week of September to the half of November in January.
Perfect. And Martin is asking if students are able to work while studying in Milan, and
yes.
if it's possible, what kind of visa should they get to be able to work?
Well, you can work with your visa on study, but as a non-European student, you have a limit of hour that you can make in a week. It's 20 hours. You cannot work more than 20 hours a week if you are an international student. You can do that with your normal study visa, but you are required to have this work limit. This is our limit. As an additional requirement, you can also work inside our campus. It means we have this project which is called 150 hours, which allows students to work with us, with me, with our offices in general, inside the campus, doing administrative jobs. They can work for example, in libraries, or even in office like mine. I've mentioned before that we have a program with student ambassador that can talk to you about their program. You can book an appointment with them. The students are all paid through this 150-hour project. They are paid 13 euros for every hour, so it is quite convenient for a student.
That's really good, and I might
without taxes, net 13 euro for hour, but okay. It's still quite good. It is not a bad pay, concerning that you are quite also flexible with your schedule, because of course, a student has to study, and if they work inside the university, we don't want to steal time for their study. So it is quite flexible to arrange time with us for this kind of activity in general.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really good. I might suggest all the participants who are planning to prepare their applications do reach out to students to better understand the programs, life at Polimi and everything. So this ambassadors program is really useful for you. It's a very useful resource.
Yeah, it is really new. Also for us, it is the first time that we do that, because we noticed that students really want to have the direct contact with the students that are already in the university. So it is really good in order to explain the program, details about lessons and so on, and in general how it work, the life of a student or an average student in Polimi. So it can be really beneficial for them in order to choose Polimi, because we think that it is really a worthy university and we want to pass it.
Okay, perfect. So Maria Elisa Castro is asking, she has already been admitted for a master's degree and was accepted, but she would like to apply again to see if she can get a scholarship. Is it possible?
Yes. I mean, she don't want to enroll, right? Because she had not received a scholarship.
Yeah, I guess she hasn't enrolled.
Well, the problem that I see here is that if you're already graduated, your GPA it won't change within a year. So your score, it is difficult that will be very different. It depends also from other applicants. So I'm not sure that is a good strategy. That's all. But you can try, of course, but probably it is not that that fundamental.
Okay, thank you. Here, sorry. I'm not sure if an architect cannot apply for a design master as interior special design. I already have a friend who is an architect and who is now pursuing this master at Polimi. Okay, but perhaps he can try.
This is strange because, of course, I mentioned that there is some flexibility. So probably it was enrolled in a year with not that much applicant. That's what it can happen. But that's really strange. Professor in general, they have said that they want to. They are really strict with the title. So.
Okay, here we have an answer from Mailet, who is the Venezuelan student. She has a very good GPA. It's a 4.03 out of 5 from Simón Bolívar University, the second best university in Venezuela. So Mailet, we really encourage you to apply.
Yes, of course. In that case, apply.
So we have another question about scholarships. Yes, the scholarships, the merit-based scholarship given by Politécnico, you don't need an additional application for all other scholarships. You do need a different application.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, we're almost on time. We're a few minutes over the allotted time. Thank you, Gabriel. Is there any late-minute question?
Okay. If you have other question anyway, you can contact directly Cecilia. We work really strictly, so you can refer to her also for procedure, because sometimes they got quite complex. So she's really trained to give you the best assistance that she can in order to apply to Polimi. Therefore, you can refer to her or contact us directly if you prefer. That's your choice, but in any case, I recommend to refer to Cecilia. Okay.
Thank you, Gabriel. So we'll send everyone the recording of this presentation, and please do contact us. And
yes.
There's the last question. Can the students or can the participants contact directly students who are already at Polimi? And
I saw the question. We still have to make it through the contact. It will be available from the beginning of June, and we will send all the information on how to contact the student to Cecilia, and we will publish it on our website in any case. For the time being, in these weeks, it is still not possible, but
okay.
With June it should be ready. Okay.
We do have some WhatsApp groups for students, for Latin American students, one specific for Mexican students and others for Colombian and other Latin American students. So if you want to join, let us know. And I mean, usually those students are very helpful, not only to tell you about the programs, but also to tell you about life in Milan. Okay, thank you.
Campuses in general.
Exactly. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope to see you in Milan very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
See you. Bye.